Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Daily Chat, the Killeen Daily Herald. Today I have a new business owner here, Miss Aronka with Aronka's 5-Star Creations in Nolanville, Texas. How you doing today, Miss Aronka?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am the owner of Aronka's 5-Star Creation along with my husband, Aaron Robertson. So we are an ice cream manufacturing facility located in Nolanville, Texas.
Yes, ma'am. And I see that you brought KDH some ice cream today.
Yes, I
So,
brought y'all some samples.
can you talk about this flavor?
Yes, that is our creamy butter pecan, and it's absolutely amazing. We source all of our nuts here in the great state of Texas, and so I brought some for you to try. So maybe you can try it and,
Of
and see what.
course.
Tell us how you feel about that. I think it's absolutely sensational.
This is mine now.
Yes, so it is absolutely sensational. All of our recipes, we've created over 180 flavors of ice cream. And so that creamy butter pecan is our original recipe, and we sell that to a lot of amazing restaurants and businesses. So yes, I'm seeing you went back for a second bite, so you liking that.
There's about to be 6 more.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely
And
sensational.
what I really like about this is, so I am a big fan of butter pecan, and a lot of them you have more of that vanilla taste, more of that pecan, but you
Yeah.
taste the pecan throughout, and it has that creamy texture to it.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's one thing that sets us apart from other ice cream brands. We don't hold back with our inclusions, and we give real food in our ice cream. So that I think that's one thing that's really, really awesome. We're not doing like a powder for the taste of pecans, but we're actually putting in the pecans. And like I said, they're locally sourced here in the great state of Texas.
Yes, ma'am. So the first question I want to ask you is, what inspired you to open up a manufacturing shop?
Yes, so I started making ice cream in 2019. My husband was stationed in Honolulu, Hawaii, and literally it was actually through prayer I started with an ice cream shop. And when my husband retired and came back to Killeen, Texas, and what I noticed is we had such a great success in our ice cream store, and so many other restaurants and businesses were coming in and asking us like, oh my Lord, our customers are coming here. Where are you getting your ice cream? Or I noticed where local business owners were coming in and asking, where do you get your ice cream? And all of our ice cream we were providing to the public was ice cream that my husband and I created. So then through prayer, of course, we felt like the Lord was leading us to actually open up a manufacturing facility. And so we did the necessary steps to actually go through the process of actually being a licensed, having a licensed manufacturing facility. And I would say that, to my knowledge, we're the only minority, woman-owned, veteran-owned ice cream manufacturing facility in Central Texas. And I've heard, but hey, don't quote me, but I've heard in all of the great state of Texas. So I think that is really awesome what the Lord has allowed us to do, and just to, provide real ice cream, and when I say real ice cream, we do our very, very best to source the best ingredients that we can, right? I don't say that we're organic or anything of that nature, but we do our very best to source our ingredients the best way we can, and in the great state of Texas if we can.
Yes, ma'am. And you're already getting into on what's separating you from other brands.
Yes.
So the question I'm gonna ask you is, why was it so important for you to make sure that you stood out from the rest?
I think it's very important. I think how we go about doing our processes, right? We are a fully licensed, tested manufacturing plant for ice cream, and I think what sets us apart is really how we go about it. I think we make every ice cream that we make it with love. And that's one thing that we tell people. This to us is more of something of our calling, what we feel that the Lord has called us to do, to actually provide our customers with amazing ice cream, with ingredients that you can pronounce. And so that's very, very important. So for example, our dairy, We're not using powdered dairy. We actually try our very, very best to source our dairy here in the great state of Texas. So we use distributors that also receive dairy here in the great state of Texas. And I think that's so very important. It's not, our ice cream is not sold to you after having it in some warehouse after 3 years or 5 years. All the ice cream that we sell to our customers are made within 24 to 48 hours. I think that's a huge thing that sets us apart from others, and it's just such a great blessing. We've never had a recall or anything of that nature, but we're still very new, but we just do it with love, and all of our recipes are recipes that we've created. So I think that's definitely something that sets us apart from others that make ice cream.
Yes, ma'am. And previously you had a store in Killeen.
And we did, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So what inspired you to make the move to Nolanville?
Nolanville. So we looked at quite a few other towns and different things of that nature. And I think one thing that really sold us to have us move to Nolanville is we love the people of Nolanville, and it still allowed us to be close to Killeen. And it was so very important to us because we have so many people that supported us here in Killeen and just Central Texas as a whole. So it was a good commute even for those that supported us. We didn't want to be so far removed from the community that first pushed us. That was very, very important. And we loved how the people of Nolanville just rallied behind us. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have tracked this or maybe your viewers have. They had a city hall and so many people came out and tried our ice cream and voted right on the spot to have our manufacturing facility there. And that was such a huge hurdle for us because before you bring in a manufacturing facility, the community has to be in agreement with that. So that was a huge hurdle for us, and it wasn't something that they needed to get back with us on. There was nothing that anybody ever said, oh no, we don't want this. People from the very beginning was just so welcoming. And for us, that is so very important because we're not only there to make ice cream, but to be a part of the community as well. And just especially here in Central Texas. If you didn't know it, we love Texas. And so that was very, very important to us. And then Nolanville, strategically places us by the highway so we can get to Temple, Waco, we can get to Austin and Dallas and all these different places. So we wanted to look at, what would easily put us to a highway so we can, easily make our deliveries and things of that nature. So that was one of the deciding factors for us.
Yes, ma'am. As you can see, I'm still in on this one. But can you tell me about more of your flavors?
Yes, so and I'm gonna let you try it too. One of our first flavors that we ever created was our heavenly banana pudding. And I'm telling you, I made that ice cream in Honolulu, Hawaii. Like I said, my husband was stationed there. And that flavor comes with a story. I actually went on social media and I had asked some military spouses, hey, I'm in my kitchen making some ice cream. I created a flavor called heavenly, at that time it was banana pudding. I didn't have a name for it because I was still tweaking the recipe. And it was what we now call heavenly banana pudding. And one of the young ladies, let me open this for you, but one of the young ladies, a military spouse, literally said to me, hey, we don't have, she was very familiar with Bluebell. And hopefully I won't get in trouble for saying that name, but here it is. I just brought you this little sample of it. And she said, they don't have that on the island. And I'm going to try it, but I'm telling you, I'm very optimistic. And I said, well, just come on and try it. I'll put some in a container for you. Well, within an hour or so, she called me back. She said, ain't no way you've made this. This is the best ice cream I've ever had. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yes. So she literally did a Yelp review. And other military spouses reached out to me and said, I want to try this ice cream. I want to try this ice cream. And it literally was a huge thing. We would have lines wrapped around our house for this ice cream. And at that moment, that's when we knew we had a business. We didn't this recipe came from the Lord. And you can try it,
So,
try it out and let me know what you think.
so before I get into this, I am not the biggest fan of banana pudding. So
So you say you're not?
I'm not. So this is going to be
Okay.
interesting.
Yes. And look, taste it for the consistency. Like we use real bananas in our banana pudding. So this is not a flavoring. You're going to get a lot of, and we use cane sugar in our ice cream as well.
I'll make an exception for this one.
Oh, wow.
I would actually make an exception for this one. I'm not even trying to just boast you, but this is
Thank you.
a wonderful balance.
Yes, it is. And one
Yes,
thing I
ma'am.
love about our ice cream, it is not overpowering with sweetness because like I said, we use cane sugar and like what we call our ice cream mix. So, the formula to actually make the ice cream. And I know there's some other people like, hey, he's not going back for a second bite. Literally, there's some other people that wanted some of this sample. So yes, we understand.
Yes,
but literally this ice cream, our heavenly
This
banana
is
pudding,
Peter.
it is a amazing flavor. It's something that sells out every day. Like literally when we had our store, we would sell out of so much of that heavenly banana pudding. And like I said, going back to Hawaii, when we came here, we would get so many emails and people saying, oh, we need it in Hawaii. How can we get it in Hawaii? And we literally, you talking about support the Hawaiian people. When we opened our store here in Texas, we had people from Hawaii fly in to just support us, and other people from Guam and all over will come into our store and that live in Texas and say, hey, I want some of your ice cream. My aunties told me about your ice cream. Like, your ice cream is the only ice cream that we can eat. So literally, that was also our push to open up a manufacturing facility, to hear these amazing reviews from people that have not been able to enjoy ice cream in years because of stomach issues or whatever the case may have been, where they're able to come into our shop when we had our shop and actually sit down and enjoy our product. I think that speaks volumes. And I think for my husband and I, we were like, we need to get this to the masses because ice cream is a conversational piece. Like, people are happy when they get good ice cream, and they're not like, especially when is not leaving the, oh, my stomach is going to hurt, like what they may get with other brands, right?
Yes,
we have never had those issues. And also, I would like to point out to you, because our ice cream doesn't have so many things that you cannot pronounce, you see the form of the ice cream, it's not a puddle right now. We've been in the studio. We've been here, at least 30 minutes or longer. It's not melted. It keeps its form because it's how it's made. Usually when you have ice cream that has a lot of different things in it, it will melt fairly quickly. So
Yes,
just
ma'am.
point that out to you.
As she's already said it before this interview had started, we were already staking our claims on the ice cream flavors.
Yes.
So our videographer right now, Amina, she staked claim on the banana pudding. So I don't want to get on her bad side.
Yes.
But
yes.
you also had other flavors. You had vanilla, you had cookies and cream,
Yes.
you had your classics, but alongside that, you had the heavily banana pudding.
Yes.
So how are you able to balance that, having that classic flavor and then that gourmet flavor?
Yes, so we consider all of our ice cream, even our classics, gourmet. We do have some that is even more, our Michelin star chefs, they request. So for example, we have rose infused ice cream. We have edible gold infused ice cream. We have Dubai chocolate ice cream. We literally, if you can dream it, we have created it, or we, will create it. We consider ourselves more of an ice creamologist. That's sort of a little name that we came up with many years ago. And it's just, for us, people that make ice cream in unique flavors. So how we balance that out, of course, we always want to have something that our customers and other people, they can identify with. So something like a creamy butter pecan, that is sort of a huge staple in Texas, right? So you always want to have a creamy butter pecan, and you're going to get like the hint of the maple. You're going to get hit of, the cream and the oils that come out in the nuts. That's really, when you walk away, you're like, wow, that was an experience. And then so when you look at flavors that are just a little bit more bolder, like our heavenly banana pudding, and then I'll also let you try our coffee celebration. you're going to taste when you try a coffee celebration. You're going to get notes of the coffee. You're going to get notes of the rum. Okay. And usually people are like, wow, is this some liquor in it? No, it's not liquor in it at all. There's no liquor in it. But it's literally building on flavors. And that's what we do with our ice cream. We build flavors.
We're gonna go
Okay.
ahead and trade these out.
Yes.
Put this one back.
Yes, so let me open this one for you, and
Yes,
then we
ma'am.
can trade that out for your coworkers can have a taste of that as well. You want to take this top for us. Let me put this right here for us. And literally, so like I said, with this,
What
there's
side do you recommend?
it does not matter. Like, 'cause so in there, you're going to have some toffee. You're going to have different flavors in there. And this one, when I tell you, this is a huge hit amongst coffee shops, ice cream shops, all of that. People are so surprised. Like, wow, what do you think? What are your
We'll see
thoughts?
what you mean by the bold flavor.
Absolutely. And so these are the flavors that set us apart. Okay, because no one, if they're doing unique flavors, they're not actually putting the foods in the ice cream. These, they may put in maybe a few little pieces of chocolate, and they may use different flavorings to give that. That's not what we do. We actually put in the toffee. You're going to have the rum. You're going to have all of those things. And so we're building flavors when we make our ice cream. And so that's really what sets us apart from others.
And what I really enjoy about this is every bite that I took, I could taste every flavor in it.
Absolutely.
It was, you have that bold at first, but
Yes.
then every bite, you're tasting the toffee, you're getting the coffee,
Yes.
getting the rum. It has layers to it.
Yes, absolutely. We have white chocolate in there. It's just, when I tell you, it's smooth. And that's one thing that our customers speak of, how smooth the ice cream is. And that's the
ma'am.
consistency. And I know a lot of people always ask us, is the consistency with your ice cream is just impeccable. And that's one thing I would say that sets us apart too. You want to have consistency in your ice cream.
Yes, ma'am. Here, you want me to
Oh,
take that
thank
back?
you,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
We can put this to the side for your amazing coworkers that
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
be, having some taste of some amazing ice cream, maybe after lunch or something.
Yes, ma'am. So now that we're tasting all this wonderful ice cream,
Yes,
I
sir.
want to talk about the process of it. Now that you have a manufacturing shop,
Mm-hmm.
what does the process look like?
So the process for us, it starts with I would say, our base. Our base is different than a lot of people's bases. I mean, for pitting on the flavor, you can have a fat content of 12 all the way up to like 18, 20, depending on what you want your ice cream to taste like. For us, it depends on what we're making. It is very, very important to us to keep our fat contents in our ice cream consistent. So it starts with that. So the fat that's actually in the ice cream. If we were making ice cream and delivering it, say for example, to New York, because of how that climate is, they can, maintain or sustain a lot more fat in their ice cream versus here in Texas. So I think that's one thing that sets us apart too,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
educational background with our ice cream. We know our customer, and I think that's very, very important. You need to know your customer. And being in the great state of Texas, we are a very humid climate. Here, it can be 90 degrees outside, and you don't want something so much, so heavy on your stomach. And so I think it starts with our base. That's important to us. It's important that we're always, if we use sugar, it's going to be cane sugar every time. That's important to us because we don't want to use a lot of high fructose corn syrup. We just try our very, very best to not do so much of that. However, I will say, like, for example, we don't make cookies. So if we include like a cookies and cream on our label, we're going to put everything on that label according to, what's in the cookies as well, because that's an inclusion for us, because we don't make things like cookies and we don't make chocolate bars, we make ice cream. So yeah, yes sir. Does that
Yes,
answer your
ma'am.
question?
Of
Is that a
course,
little
of
easier
course.
for you? Yes sir.
And I want to ask, was there any challenges you faced getting a manufacturing business started?
Yes. You know what I would tell them? I would call it beautiful lessons. I would call it beautiful lessons. Absolutely. Opening up a manufacturing facility it's something that is definitely not easy, but something that's very doable. It is doable. From start to finish, from researching it to, you know, having the city of Nolanville, you know, join us and doing this, because it is something that it wasn't easy at all. From licensing to getting, you know, the plumbing done to working with the guidelines to actually open up a manufacturing facility. It has to be, you know, white and sterile and, you know, all these different things. And the floor has to be slanted at a particular angle because you for mopping purposes and things of that nature. So there was a great learning curve, you know, but it was absolutely doable, something that was doable for us. And then you go into, you know, finding distributors that you can buy from as far as your dairy that has the same standards as you do. And so as we grew and as we set out to do this, of course, we met challenges, but every challenge, we also overcame it. So am I answering that the best way? Yeah. So I would say we don't see, let me say this, we don't see a lot of people, a lot of women in the manufacturing space, especially ice cream, okay? So there wasn't never, you know, someone that we can call and say, hey, can you tell us, you know, give us an outline on how to do this. So for us, it was something that was a lot of reading. It was a lot of, you know, I would say a lot of divine intervention, meeting the right people at the right moments, especially when it came down to the manufacturing space. God really placed people in our path to actually like, oh, well, you're going to need this or you're going to need that. And by the grace of God, we were able to do it and brought us to this point we are today. So absolutely, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And one thing, again, you are a manufacturing business, and one thing that's different from ice cream shops, you're not serving to community, you're serving to businesses that will serve that product. So do you have a target business, a target audience that you're looking for?
Yes, that is an excellent question. So the desire is for us to be incorporated in any restaurant, because all restaurants that I've seen, they sell ice cream. And why not sell a local brand, especially if you're in Texas? Why not sell a local brand? Why not sell a brand that you can, you know, call the owners and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. We're having a pecan pie here, and we want to have a pecan pie ice cream here with ingredients that, you know, we can be a part of that creation process. Or can you come in and do a tasting with us? And that's something we're able to do. So when we think about our customer, our ideal customer, we definitely want to reach out to those restaurants and meet them where they are and get our ice cream in their restaurant. Also, colleges. A lot of college kids love ice cream. So being integrated in the colleges on the military bases, me being a military spouse, it is very important to me to reach back and not forget my roots where I started. So that's very, very important to me. So I hope to, you know, being able to be on the military base, because that's just where I started at. So really just to have a nice firm stand in the ice cream industry. That is my hope. So anywhere ice cream is sold, that's where I want to be. My husband and I want to be. We want Aronka's 5-Star Creations to be globally at some point. That is our desire. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And I know there's also seasonal events that come up. You were just talking about doing a pecan, but we all know that we have fall coming up, and one of the biggest things in fall is Halloween.
Yes.
So is it safe to say that Aronka's 5-Star Creations might be dabbling in some haunted house, some Jack the Ripper, something that's very fall, something fall themed, but something that y'all can incorporate?
Well, so we do have fall flavors. So we have our pumpkin spice ice cream. Yes, we have our pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie ice cream. We have we have carrot cake ice cream. We did that a lot in our shop, and that was amazing. We have a ice cream that has little rose crystals in it. So literally, I wouldn't necessarily go so far naming those names per se,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
we do have a fall holiday line of ice cream that our ice cream our restaurants can choose from, or if they wanted something created just for them, like maybe a blood red, orange type of ice cream or sorbet. So we don't just do ice cream. We have our vegan flavors, we have our sorbets, we do pretty much them all. So yes, absolutely. We also have our Christmas flavors, holiday flavors. So yes,
Yes,
sir,
ma'am.
we have them all. And yes, that's something we absolutely would love to do and supply that to our restaurants.
Yes, ma'am. So, is it safe to say everything that Aronka's five-star creation does is always sustainable for the business? Because y'all, one thing I'm seeing that y'all are able to adapt with anything that's going on.
Absolutely. I think as a business as a whole, you need to be able to be adaptable, and I think that's one thing that sets us apart because we are adaptable with seasons. And I've gotten questions before, ice cream, how does it do from the summer to the winter in sales? What our experience have always been is that we have sold more ice cream in the winter than even in the summer. I think people love comforting things, and ice cream brings comfort. We have a flavor called Not Your Mama's Eggnog. Okay, when I tell you it is a huge seller, everyone loves it, especially for the holiday times. And even when we do our cider ice cream or our cider things, coffee shops absolutely love it. And see, I think that's the thing that sets us apart. You can come to us and get matcha ice cream, or you can come and get ube ice cream. We have it all. Literally, you will pick and find your flavor at Aronka's Five-Star Creations. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. And with that sustainability, is that how y'all help yourselves grow? Y'all sustain yourselves and look at this is, again, you
Yes.
see that winter is your biggest sales, and you look at that as your way of growing?
Absolutely. I think you need, as a business, and especially since it is our desire to grow, you need to be able to meet your customers where they are and what they're looking for. And I think that's the thing that sets us apart. Being an ice cream manufacturing facility, our customers, business owners, colleges, nursing homes, they can come and say, hey, we're looking for something with not as much sugar. We're able to oblige those customers. Or we may have a customer that say, you know what, this month we're doing something for breast cancer awareness. So we're looking for more ice creams that are pink, or something, maybe a red dragon fruit, or we want a sour sap ice cream. That's something that we're able to do for them. And not necessarily putting a sour sap powder, but actually incorporating the real fruit in our sorbets or in our ice cream. And I think that's one thing that makes us a gourmet ice cream manufacturing facility, because we're able to do things that others just are not able to do and maintain the integrity of the ice cream, which is very important to us.
Yes, Sam. And I want the viewers to look. I have finished the ice cream that I have claimed.
Yes.
So we know what my favorite is. It's going to be the
Yes.
creamy butter pecan. But what is your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, wow. Okay, so I love, and I did not think I was gonna love it as much as I do, our coffee celebration. I love that. I consider that more of an after dark flavor. It's just so elegant.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
absolutely love it. I love the notes of coffee, the notes of rum. I love the notes of toffee and the white chocolate and the milk chocolate in there. I love that. So that's one of my favorites. And then the heavenly banana pudding. You just cannot go wrong. Oh my Lord. And especially if you're a banana pudding lover. So I would say that. And then I have to throw in this. I love our peach cobbler. Oh my. And we sell a lot of that, especially now because of the holidays and stuff. They're getting to roll in. And if you go on to our social media, when we had our store, we would sell our peach cobbler ice cream pies. And when I tell you, we would sell so many of those in a day. Literally around Thanksgiving week, we would get 45, 50 plus just for that, just for the pies. So I would say that, you asked me just one. Okay, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Yeah, those two, I would say those are my two, because you just can't go wrong with that, because it reminds me of home. It reminds me of my mother. My mother's going on to be with the Lord, and if I can add this, one thing that she loved was our heavenly banana pudding. And even I lost my mother from liver bile duct cancer, and while she was going through her treatments, she was able to eat our ice cream when she didn't have an appetite for anything else. So those flavors remind me of home. They remind me of my mother. So I think for me, it connects me to a memory. So it's just a little extra special to me. So I would say the heavenly banana pudding and our coffee celebration. And yeah, yeah. I think those are my two. You asked me for one, but I gave you two.
And from starting to Hawaii, and now you're in Nolanville, Texas. What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned being in this business?
Oh, you have to have thick skin being in this business, because you're actually, there's not a lot of people that look like me in this business. There's not a lot of people. I've had people say to me when I do my tastings, well, am I going to meet your owner? Or how long have you been working for the company? And to tell them, I am the owner. They're like, oh, I would have thought, you did this or that. And I think it's a shock to a lot of them, because a lot of times you don't see a lot of women in manufacturing, especially ice cream manufacturing, and then to see a woman of color, you don't see that, or at least it's just not talked about as much as it should be, because women are in every industry. They're in the oil industry, they're in the construction industry. We are everywhere. So I can say that. So you definitely need tough skin, and there's so many beautiful parts of this. These are things that have unlocked for my husband and I in this industry that we never would have even imagined. So I can say that it's definitely a beautiful industry to be a part of. It's definitely something that I would encourage others to, explore, getting into the world of ice cream, frozen dessert. It is a wonderful industry. I would also say this, during COVID, we started our business during COVID, and I'm telling you, we grew like no one's business. We grew so quickly. And I think that was across the board with ice cream, even during a global pandemic. Like, a lot of industries just cannot say that. But ice cream was, here during the Great Depression. It survived during that. It survived COVID. And numbers were ice cream numbers, they were doing in its billions during a pandemic, literally. So I say, being in the world of manufacturing, it's so much bigger. It's, like having a store was one thing for my husband and I, but being able to cross over to actually sell to different restaurants and schools, nursing homes, colleges, all those different things, it is opened up so many opportunities for us, and it has been a beautiful journey thus far. Absolutely.
Yes, and where do you plan on taking your business the next 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years, it is our prayer to be throughout all of Texas. All of Texas, I want to be throughout all Texas, and literally crossing over to other states. I really want Aronka's 5-Star Creations to be a global ice cream option for everyone globally. That's what I definitely want. I want to grow to that point, and to really be in the military installations. I think that's very, very important, to actually represent entrepreneurship to military spouses and soldiers, those that, like my husband's now, he's retired, and that's what he does. We serve our community together, just in frozen desserts. So we like to be everywhere. We would like to also be in stores, where the people can come in and actually pick up a amazing ice cream that they can rely on, they can trust. I think that's so big in business. You have to build relationships where people can trust you. They trust what you're giving them. They trust what they're feeding their children, you know? And like I say, I love the whole art of transparency and just coming out and say, you know, hey, I do my very best. We do our very best with sourcing our products. We do. If there's any room for growth, we grow in those areas. Like, for example, we don't make cookies. So when we're putting those ingredients on the back of the label, it's just for you to be aware of them. If it's ever brought to our attention, like, hey, did you realize that this ingredient, and I'm not that comfortable, or after we do research, because all of our labels go up for approval and things of that nature, just making sure that we're following the guidelines for food. So we are tested, our ice cream is tested every month, all of those good things. But we're still growing, we're still learning, and we want to make sure that we are supplying ice cream that our customers can be, you know, happy with giving to their families and children and things of that nature. So absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. You've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Miss Aronka with Aronka's 5-Star Creation in Nolanville, Texas.
Yes.
You can find her at North Main Street, Nolanville, Texas, 76559 at 100A. So, and the number to reach her at is 254-701-8758. Nope, let me rephrase that. 254-701-8785. And the other number will be 254-221-7140. Would you like to say anything, Mr. Aronka?
Yes, I would like for every person with a business, if you work in the college space, culinary space, we would love to meet with you. If you're on one of these military installations and you are looking for an ice cream that your customers will love and enjoy, we will be happy to serve you. We want you to reach out to us. Those numbers are the numbers at our manufacturing facility. We would love to come in and do a tasting with you. If you are, like I said, we are not open to the public. The address that he gave, that is the address at our manufacturing facility. But say, for instance, if you are doing a large party and things of that nature, we can sell to you. However, I would say our containers are 2.75. So with a 2-ounce scooper, you're going to get 179 scoops of ice cream. That's a whole lot of ice cream to just sell to one person. So we focus on selling at to our restaurants and things of that nature. But reach out to us if you have a restaurant, a business, even the corporate spaces. If you are a corporate entity and you sell ice cream in your establishment, we want to sit down and speak with you and see how we can get Aronka's 5-Star Creations into your facility, into your restaurant. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I'm your news reporter, Dalen Che with the Killeen Daily Herald. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or a good night.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.